Welcome to Central Florida. I'm Annette Funicello, and I'll be your guide as Video Trips takes you on a fun and fact-filled tour of this magic southeastern state. As you can see, we'll show you those special points of interest which will provide you with the ultimate Florida vacation. You'll also learn important details such as what to expect from the weather, transportation, and hotel availability. This information can help eliminate many annoying inconveniences which travelers sometimes encounter. Florida is located at the southeastern corner of the United States, a tropical peninsula separating the Atlantic from the Gulf of Mexico. We will begin in Tampa St. Petersburg on Central Florida's west coast, move inland to the cities of Orlando and Buena Vista, and finish on the shores of the Atlantic. Central Florida offers just about everything a vacationer might want. On the west, there are the romantic Gulf Coast beaches, great saltwater fishing, historical and family attractions. In the center, the Magic Kingdom, beautiful gardens, and SeaWorld. On the east, Kennedy Space Center, the world's first operating spaceport. Truly something for everyone. If you want to spend more time fishing or relaxing on the beach, then Tampa St. Petersburg might be where you want to stay. If you plan on spending several days at Walt Disney World, you might consider accommodations around Orlando. In either case, the two areas are less than 100 miles apart, so you can stay in one and still enjoy the activities of the other, all within a 2-hour drive. Now, let's begin our video trip in the West Florida city of Tampa. Described by many as the country's finest airport, Tampa International Airport is served by most major airlines and numerous commuter carriers. The modern facilities maintain an efficient system of shuttle cars, escalators, and elevators to make your trip through the airport as comfortable as possible. Tampa International is within 20 minutes of downtown Tampa and less than 1 hour from all the West Coast beaches and attractions. If you're a private pilot, there are also a number of other municipal airports throughout the area servicing smaller planes. Most car rental agencies are available near the baggage gates. Also, many hotels in Tampa provide courtesy cars to and from Tampa International. Limousine and taxi service is available to both Tampa and nearby St. Petersburg for about $8 to $10 one way. If you like to travel by train, the Amtrak station in downtown Tampa accommodates Seaboard Coastline trains. Both Greyhound and Trailways bus lines serve Tampa. To reach Tampa by car, the main north-south routes are U.S. Routes 19 and Interstate 75, and from Orlando and points east, Interstate 4 is probably your best bet. Interconnections with other U.S. and Florida highways provide easy access throughout the state. It's hard to imagine that this cosmopolitan center began as a small army outpost. In 1824, the U.S. Army erected Fort Brooke to safeguard strategic Tampa Bay and protect the growing number of settlers. During the Spanish-American War, Tampa became the primary embarkation port for U.S. troops, including Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders Regiment. From its colorful military history, the Tampa of today has flourished into a commercial giant. The Port of Tampa is the 7th largest in the nation. Almost daily, ships from South and Central America unload an abundance of fruit and produce at the banana docks on the edge of town. But it was the sunshine and the tourists who chase it that really created the Tampa St. Petersburg area boom. People now come from all over the world to Florida's famed western shores, bathed by the sparkling waters of the Gulf of Mexico. To further attract vacationers, the Tampa area has spawned some of the most unique and exciting attractions in the world, like the famous Busch Gardens. How would you like to vacation in a tropical jungle without ever leaving the country? Well, you can if you visit the Dark Continent at Busch Gardens. Busch Gardens is located at 3000 Busch Boulevard in Tampa. As you enter the spectacular 300-acre park, you'll find yourself in turn-of-the-century Africa. A true-to-life safari, Busch Gardens is divided into 7 themed areas offering rides, animal and bird exhibits, live entertainment, shops, and games. There's a majestic Serengeti Plain, a 60-acre wilderness enclosure where more than 3,000 animals roam free. An overhead monorail provides comfortable viewing of the entire exhibit. Few creatures are more exciting to behold than the rare white Bengal tigers ruling over Claw Island. The Congo River Rapids takes the adventurous on free-floating rafts through a quarter-mile of unpredictable whitewater rapids. On this ride, you should be prepared to be thoroughly soaked by the time you're through, so you'll want to plan accordingly. The Timbuktu section of Busch Gardens features the Scorpion Coaster, a German fest house, and a dolphin show. For the child at heart, there's also the Python and the monstrous Mamba coasters, the log flume, and the ever-popular Ubanga Banga bumper cars. Other sections include a marketplace in Morocco, tropical bird gardens, and the villages of Stanleyville and Nairobi, where small animals reside. The Dark Continent at Busch Gardens is open year-round, and you should plan to spend a full day at the park. After you've experienced these exotic thrills of Busch Gardens, come back to the excitement of the city, Ybor City in Tampa's Latin Quarter. Registered as a National Historic District, Ybor City breathes with a Spanish flavor all its own. In 1886, Spanish oppression was forcing cigar makers out of Cuba, so Vicente Martinez Ybor established the first cigar factory here in Tampa. Utilizing only pure Havana tobacco leaves, Ybor soon developed a worldwide reputation for fine cigars. The history and Latin flavors still permeate Ybor City, and a short walking tour will send you back to that colorful era. Historic markers are placed throughout the city, so you can feel free to explore on your own. The Ybor City State Museum is open to the public, and here you can learn how fine hand-rolled cigars have been made for hundreds of years. Also of historical interest is the University of Tampa, located at 401 West Kennedy Boulevard. Although not established as a university until 1931, the campus has a long and colorful past. The university's administration building, Plant Hall, was originally constructed in 1890 as the Tampa Bay Hotel. It served as Theodore Roosevelt's headquarters during the Spanish-American War, and today is considered the finest example of Moorish architecture in the Western Hemisphere. Within an hour's drive north of Tampa St. Petersburg, Weeki Wachee Springs is just off Interstate 75 at U.S. Route 19 and is open year-round. A unique water adventure, Weeki Wachee is built around an artesian spring which flows at a rate of more than 100,000 gallons per minute. The crystal water maintains a constant temperature of 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Here you can enjoy Buccaneer Bay with its water slides and sandy beach. And for something really unusual, imagine a theater 16 feet below the surface of the spring where beautiful mermaids perform choreographed aquabatics. A unique treat for the whole family, The Mermaid Magic Show can be viewed through a series of 19 plate glass windows. Afterwards, entertaining shows featuring birds of prey and exotic birds will round out your stay at Weeki Wachee. Homosassa Springs is located 75 miles north of Tampa on US 19. Homosassa Springs, in the city of the same name, is open daily and offers one of nature's more unusual phenomenon. Here, over 10,000 fresh and saltwater fish swim together in the giant fishbowl spring, a 6 million gallon spring at the head of the Homosassa River. A floating observatory allows you to come face to face with the 34 different species of fresh and saltwater fish who populate the 55-foot deep spring. Homosassa Springs is nationally known as a haven for injured or orphaned manatees. The manatees are an endangered species of aquatic mammal, and fewer than 1,000 remain in existence. Don't miss Gator Lagoon, where you'll receive a toothy smile from each hungry inhabitant. You can watch the feeding of the alligators and crocodiles 4 times daily. 20 miles north of St. Petersburg, the authentic flavor of the Greek community comes to colorful life in Tarpon Springs. Sponge diving began here in the early 1900s when Greek divers came to ply their centuries-old trade. Although the natural sponge industry has since declined, the Greek community in Tarpon Springs is a vibrant and joyous view of a replanted Mediterranean culture. As you stroll along Dodecanese Boulevard, you may have the feeling that you're in a different time and place. The aroma of freshly baked Greek bread, the festive melodies of Greek music, and the colorful sponge boats all add to the feeling. Plan on dining at one of the many authentic Greek restaurants. Visit the shops and boutiques for some very unusual gifts. And for those seeking seafaring adventure, take a trip aboard a sponge boat for an actual sponge diving exhibition with hard hat divers. While in Tampa, you can enjoy the charm of the area on one of the several excursion boats. These festive boats offer a relaxing and unusual way to enjoy the beauty of Tampa Bay. Most feature a variety of day cruises as well as evening cruises, where you can dine and dance under the Florida moonlight as you cruise the harbor and bay waters. In addition to these party cruises, Tampa has a vibrant nightlife. There are a variety of fine nightclubs, and a great deal of excitement can be found in the restaurants and gathering spots of most major hotels. Tampa also has its share of special events, including one of my favorites, the Gasparilla Pirate Invasion. Florida's answer to the Mardi Gras, the Gasparilla Pirate Invasion is the maddest, most colorful event in the state. The festivities are a lighthearted tribute to José Gaspar, a rather colorful villain who is rumored to have buried his pirate booty in the region. Each year in early February, the José Gasparilla unfurls its mighty sails and storms into Tampa Bay amidst the flash of cannon fire. More fun than frightening, the pirates parade through the captured Tampa streets in ornate and fanciful floats. By daybreak, the pirate ship has retreated and returns peacefully to its dock at Bayshore Boulevard. It remains there throughout the year and is open to the public. Once you've arrived in Central Florida, you may wonder, what's the best way to get around? Although there's an extensive network of public bus lines throughout Central Florida, as well as 24-hour taxi service, we suggest renting a car for your vacation here. With the large number of attractions and the distance between them, the cost of taxi service or the time spent at the bus stops could be prohibitive. The greater flexibility of a rented vehicle in this land of 1,000 attractions should be well worth the expense. And now, let's move around Tampa Bay to the city of St. Petersburg. Surrounded by water on 3 sides is a small peninsula known as the Pinellas Suncoast. St. Petersburg lies on the southern tip of Pinellas Suncoast, 20 minutes from downtown Tampa. Access is provided by 3 bridges: the Gandy Bridge, the Courtney Campbell Causeway, and Interstate 275, which spans the Howard Franklin Bridge. Some of the finest beachfront in the world is within the St. Petersburg area. Miles of spectacular white sand beaches and crystal clear waters of the Gulf of Mexico have made this area a top choice for the discriminating sun worshiper. The variety of beachfront allows you to play paddleball on Clearwater Beach, launch a catamaran from the sands of Treasure Island, soak up a tan on Madeira Beach, or stroll along the shore as the sun sets on St. Pete Beach. Or just spend a quiet day with the pelicans and great white herons at Fort DeSoto Park, a National Historic Monument. When you visit St. Petersburg, there are a number of attractions you should consider visiting. If you appreciate tropical beauty, you might visit the Sunken Gardens of St. Petersburg. The Sunken Gardens are located at 1825 4th Street North and are open daily. One of the most outstanding botanical collections in the country, the Sunken Gardens feature nearly 7,000 varieties of flowering plants. Native Florida vegetation, as well as flora from every tropical country, are represented in this lush 7-acre exhibit. Flowers, trees, and tropical fruits are labeled to identify each exotic species. You don't have to be a photographer to appreciate the Sunken Gardens, but if you want to impress the folks back home with your camera skills, this is the place to do it. The menagerie of jungle creatures ready to pose range from monkeys to macaws, and the ponds are stocked with various species of goldfish. In the midst of this tropical setting is the King of Kings exhibit, where stunning wax figures depict the life of Christ. West of St. Petersburg is the island of Madeira Beach and a favorite shopping stop, John's Pass Village. Here you can browse through the many distinctive shops and then relax at one of several interesting restaurants. A similar attraction for shopping is nearby Boatyard Village. Boatyard Village also offers a charming array of shops and restaurants in a rustic, seafaring atmosphere. South of St. Petersburg in the city of Sarasota are the unusual Ringling Museums. There are actually 3 Ringling Museums and a theater here, all set on 36 landscaped acres of tropical gardens. The John and Mabel Ringling Museum of Art is Florida's official art museum. Housing an inspiring collection of Baroque masterpieces, the museum itself is a work of art, a stunning recreation of a 15th century Italian villa. Both children and adults will love the Museum of the Circus, a collection of artifacts dedicated to preserving the circus that was. Who wouldn't want to live the life of a 1920s multimillionaire, if only for a few hours? That's how you feel as you tour the magnificent Ringling Residence, the 3rd museum of the site. The Ringling Residence was built on Sarasota Bay at a cost of nearly $2 million. That, of course, was $2 million in 1925. After you've toured the 30 finely appointed rooms, don't miss the 8,000 square foot marble terrace with a breathtaking view of the bay. Let's talk about the kind of weather you should expect in Central Florida. Florida considers itself the Sunshine State, and there's a great deal of truth to that claim. The average temperature for Central Florida is a comfortable 71 degrees. During the winter months, you can expect daily high temperatures to be in the low to mid-70s. Nightly lows average between 50 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit. However, even in Florida, there's always the risk of a sudden cold front, with temperatures dropping to near freezing. If you're planning a summer vacation, expect high temperatures in the low to mid-90s. Summer nights dip into the lower 70s. It's not uncommon for it to rain many afternoons during the summer. These showers don't usually last very long, but you should be prepared for them. And when it doesn't rain, it shines. Be sure to pack the appropriate sunscreen or lotion and a good pair of sunglasses for your trip. The sun shines here an average of 361 days each year. For the sports-minded, fishing probably draws more visitors to Florida's west coast than any other attraction. Tarpon, the silver king of Florida game fish, run from mid-May until August in both Tampa Bay and the Gulf. Many other kinds of fish may be caught throughout the area from municipal fishing piers and bridges. A license is not required for saltwater fishing. Boats of every size and description may be hired for fishing in the Bay or Gulf. Check with your hotel to locate the best near you. In a land of non-stop sun, golf and tennis join fishing as top outdoor sports. In fact, golf was introduced to this country in nearby Sarasota from its birthplace in Scotland. Pros and amateurs alike will find more than 100 courses and racket clubs in the area. Can you imagine 128 miles of prime shoreline without the splash of color from sails on the horizon? From the latest in high-tech equipment to the smallest rowboat, virtually anything that floats is available for rent here. Another water activity which is becoming more and more popular is windsurfing. With a colorful sail mounted on an oversized surfboard, the object of windsurfing is to simply stand and let the warm Gulf breezes carry you along. Many rental fees for boats and sailboards include basic instructions for the beginner. If you'd rather watch sports than work at them, there are almost always professional sports teams playing here. Avid fans know Tampa Stadium's the home of the National Football League's Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the USFL's Tampa Bay Bandits. The Tampa Bay Rowdies of the North American Soccer League also play at Tampa Stadium. Tickets are generally available for home games, and most can be obtained through your hotel. If you're a fan of the Cincinnati Reds, Philadelphia Phillies, New York Mets, or the St. Louis Cardinals, you can watch these teams warming up for the season opener. Care to place a small wager on a sure thing or a long shot? Horse racing, the sport of kings, is held January through March at Tampa Bay Downs. Greyhound racing can be found year-round, either at the Tampa Dog Track in St. Petersburg or Sarasota. And of course, there's High Life. This unusual sport is one of the fastest and most dangerous games around. High Life teams compete at the Tampa High Life Fronton from December to May. No one under 18 is allowed in the arena. The Tampa St. Petersburg area features an abundance of fine lodgings to meet every budget, from nationally known resorts to seaside hideaways and cozy bed and breakfast inns. You can choose the accommodations which best suit your vacation plans. Whatever your choice, you should book your reservations well in advance, especially for the peak winter months of January through April. During the non-peak season, September through December, hotel rates may be reduced as much as 15 to 30% below peak rates. Condominiums are also available, but once again, you should book well in advance. Although we couldn't possibly list all of the area hotels, there are a few that are considered to be exceptional. Among these are the Sheraton Sand Key Resort in Clearwater Beach, a beautiful hotel right on the beach. The Don Cesar Beach Resort in St. Petersburg, a 1920s magnet for the elite, which has been restored to its original salmon pink glory. The Tampa Hilton, a resort in a downtown atmosphere which has its own boat docking facilities, and Tarpon Springs' luxurious Innis Brook Resort, one of the state's loveliest and plushest golf and tennis resorts. For a more extensive list of area hotels, you might want to contact your travel agent. When planning what to wear on your Florida vacation, you should, of course, dress for the appropriate season. Winter nights are usually cool, so you should consider packing some moderate weight clothing. A sweater or a light jacket should do nicely. Lighter garments and swimwear should satisfy your daytime needs. For summer, with its warm to hot temperatures and higher humidities, light casual clothing is a must. However, because of the usually reliable summer showers, a light raincoat or umbrella is a good idea for the afternoon. And if you're visiting any of the attractions here, You should expect to do a lot of walking, so make sure you bring a comfortable pair of shoes with you. This won't be the time to break in a new pair. Whatever time of year you visit, plan on taking along at least one stylish outfit, should you decide to take in the exciting Florida nightlife. Now that we've visited the Tampa St. Petersburg area, let's travel inland to Orlando and Kissimmee St. Cloud. Traveling by air, it couldn't be more convenient. The Orlando International Airport, one of the newest in the world, is served by most major airlines with direct flights from more than 90 U.S. cities. Once you've landed, a modern monorail system delivers you from the concourse to baggage, parking, and car rentals. Many hotels provide shuttle transportation to and from Orlando International Airport. Limousine and taxi service is available 24 hours a day. Taxi fares range from about $8 to $20 one way, depending on how far you go in the greater Orlando area. Walt Disney World is about 1 hour from the airport. If you arrive by car, you'll find well-maintained highways with clearly marked off-ramps. Orlando sits at the intersection of Interstate Highway 4 and the Florida Turnpike, easily accessible from any direction. Many other U.S. and Florida highways, as well as the Beeline Expressway, service the area. Amtrak has a regular schedule of train service to the region. The station at Kissimmee is the official stop for Walt Disney World. Interstate buses are also convenient to Central Florida. Greyhound and Trailways have service from all over the state with connections to most major U.S. cities. Originally a land of citrus groves and cattle ranching, the entire face of Central Florida was changed by the efforts and imagination of one very special man. In the early 1960s, Walt Disney secretly bought up thousands of acres around Lake Buena Vista. He envisioned building a magic kingdom surrounded by miles of rustic countryside and recreational attractions. Disney did not intend to build just another amusement park. He wanted to create an entire self-enclosed world. Covering more than 28,000 acres, a full 43 square miles, Walt Disney World is a massive and diverse entertainment center visited by millions of people each year. Easily accessible from Interstate Highway 4, the area is about 15 miles southwest of Orlando in Lake Buena Vista. The Magic Kingdom is the focal point of Walt Disney World. Loved by people from around the globe, this animated wonderland contains more than 40 delightful attractions, over 70 distinctive shops and restaurants, and of course, Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, and all the other Disney favorites. Mickey and I go way back, and I'm happy to see that he still touches even more young hearts than he did when I was a child. But the Magic Kingdom isn't only for children. In the Magic Kingdom's 6 theme areas, your dreams become colorful lands you can walk through and explore. You enter through Main Street, USA, with its silent movies and horse-drawn streetcars, an affectionate look at an enchanting period of American history. Brave the challenge of Adventureland, where you can sail with the famous pirates of the Caribbean and take a mysterious jungle cruise. Then it's off to magical Liberty Square, where you'll come face to spooky face with 999 ghosts at the Haunted Mansion and see early America with steamboat trips and the Hall of Presidents. At Frontierland, board a runaway mine train for a harrowing ride down Big Thunder Mountain. In Tomorrowland, race through Space Mountain. And finally, enter Fantasyland through Cinderella's castle to see Snow White and your other favorite Disney characters. See, do, and enjoy it all, and remember it happily ever after. An enticing leap through time and space, the incredible Epcot Center is an important part of Walt Disney World, located just 2 miles south of the Magic Kingdom. The complex was completed in 1982 at a cost of $900 million. The name Epcot stands for Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. The exhibit encompasses 2 entertainment worlds, Future World and the World Showcase of Nations, each designed to highlight the achievements of science, industry, and the creative imagination of humanity. The spectacular attractions in Future World are sponsored by a variety of major corporations and include Spaceship Earth, Communicore, Universe of Energy, World of Motion, Journey into Imagination, The Land, and Horizons. Various people-moving rides transport visitors throughout the exhibit halls and keep the lines moving at a steady pace. The World Showcase of Nations is a glowing tribute to the various cultures which make up our planet. Built around a lake, the wondrously conceived showcase features exhibits from all over the world. These exhibits may be reached by foot, double-decker bus, or boat. In each section, the landscaping, architecture, gourmet delights, exhibits, and shops capture the atmosphere of the country represented. In the interest of authenticity, all showcases are staffed by nationals of that country and bilingual Disney employees. As an added convenience, Epcot is linked to the Magic Kingdom by an 8-mile monorail circuit. Outside the parks themselves, discover River Country, where you can ride, slide, and splash your way around the old swimming hole, or take an excursion to Discovery Island, a zoological park filled with exotic birds and tropical flowers. If you're camping, there's plenty of space to pitch a tent or park a recreational vehicle at Disney World's Fort Wilderness Recreation Area and Campgrounds. For the perfect souvenir, don't miss the wonderful curio and gift shops at the Village Shopping Center. You should plan on at least 3 days if you want to see everything at the Magic Kingdom and Epcot Center. A 4th day might be spent enjoying the other activities outside the parks. Walt Disney World is open every day of the year. Walt Disney World may be the best known attraction in the Orlando area, but it's far from the only one. If you don't believe me, there's someone you have to meet.
Right. He's black and white, weighs 4,000 pounds, and eats up to 200 pounds of fish a day. And he also likes to have his tongue rubbed.
He's Shamu the killer whale, and he is the Lord and Master of SeaWorld. With a grin the size of a sofa bed, Shamu is the most talented performer who ever swam in a tuxedo. Along with several white-sided dolphins and killer whale friends, he's featured in the Shamu Experience. It's a fun celebration, proving the gentle intelligence of our underwater friends. Of course, not everything in the water is as friendly as Shamu. At the shark encounter, you can see dozens of ominous sharks swimming around you as you walk in an underwater glass tunnel through a 600,000-gallon aquarium. After the shark encounter, visit the Seal and Otter Stadium. as sea lion favorites Clyde and Seymour star with otters and a lovable walrus in an unforgettable comedy show. At the Atlantis Theater, watch championship water skiing, including an amazing 13-skier pyramid. SeaWorld is located at Interstate Highway 4 and the Beeline Expressway between Orlando and Walt Disney World. If the aquatic shows at SeaWorld make you want to try the water yourself, then Wet n Wild is only a few minutes away. Here you can work on your tan or experience some of the most exciting water activities you can imagine. Start out on the Kamikaze, a 6-story high water slide, then on to the Bonsai Boggin or the Corkscrew Flume. Try knee skiing around a half-mile lake course. And once you have your courage up, ride Das Stuka, the highest speed slide in the world. And if that's not enough, body surf in the 4-foot-high waves of the Surf Lagoon. Whatever your pleasure, the entire family can enjoy Wet n Wild. This is a seasonal attraction which closes in the winter. In the mood for excitement of a different kind? Why not try a ride on a Ferris wheel 16 stories high? Or perhaps the fastest roller coaster in all of Florida? Or maybe a roller coaster that does a complete loop? Well, all of these rides and more are waiting for you at Circus World, 10 minutes from Walt Disney World at the intersection of Interstate 4 and U.S. Route 27 in Davenport. Circus World features a 1-hour circus performance followed by a participation circus that allows selected visitors to fly on a trapeze, walk a high wire, and learn to juggle. Shows are presented regularly, including specialty acts by well-known artists. Once you're into the spirit of the circus, you can do your own clowning around after having your clown face painted on by a professional makeup artist. The Great Western Stampede recreates the excitement of an old-time Wild West show, and the Illusion Circus may yet restore your belief in magic. You can stroll down the Midway and try your hand at games of skill, enjoy exciting rides, and relax on Jumbo, the tallest Ferris wheel in the state. You can visit Circus World year-round. Located near Winter Haven, about halfway between Tampa and Orlando on State Route 540, is Cypress Gardens. Cypress Gardens is a botanical wonderland with more than 8,000 varieties of exotic plants, trees, and flowers, along with unusual endangered animals from all corners of the world. The original attraction opened in 1936 with a stunning array of tropical flowers. Since that time, Cypress Gardens has expanded into a diverse outdoor entertainment center. The Living Forest is a zoological equivalent of the botanical gardens, utilizing landscape waterways and shrubbery instead of bars and cages. Children will enjoy the bird shows, petting zoo, costume characters, and magic acts. Adults will admire Dixieland Reborn at the Southern Crossroads. Tour boats cruise the canals and lake. Known as the water ski capital of the world, Cypress Gardens features the famous Water Ski Review presented daily in an all-weather stadium. You can climb aboard the Island in the Sky, a majestic ride which takes you 150 feet off the ground, providing an inspiring panoramic view of the gardens in the surrounding area. Cypress Gardens is open 365 days each year. If you tire of all the fast-paced attractions or simply want a few hours' peace, visit the beautiful Bok Tower Gardens. Escape into the tranquil landscaped grounds surrounding one of Florida's most famous landmarks. The pink and gray tower is located on the peninsula's highest point, elevation 295 feet. Built of Georgian marble and stone from St. Augustine, the Carillon Bell Tower contains 53 brass bells weighing from 17 pounds to more than 11 tons. Carillon recitals are given daily at 3 p.m., and selections are played throughout the day, bringing an indescribable serenity to the lush grounds. Surrounding the tower, 128 acres of gardens contain thousands of azaleas, magnolias, and gardenias. Both the gardens and the tower were gifts of publisher and author Edward Bok. Located 3 miles north of Lake Wales, near Cypress Gardens, on County Road 17A, the Bok Tower Gardens are open to the public for year-round enjoyment. You have several transportation options once you've arrived in the Orlando area. If you're planning to sample some of the area's great dining and nightlife, you'd be wise to rent a car. Taxi fares over the distances here can get quite expensive, and public transportation slows considerably after park closing hours. Getting to and from the major attractions, however, is relatively easy and can be quite enjoyable. In Lake Buena Vista, shuttle buses operate on a 15-minute schedule. Stops are provided at all hotels and at the entrance to both the Magic Kingdom and Epcot Center. This service is provided free of charge to hotel guests. Service on charming red double-decker buses is provided for a small fee to other nearby attractions. Gray Line also maintains an extensive network of bus routes throughout the area. Here's my suggestion. Try the double-deckers and shuttle buses when touring Walt Disney World. Then rent a car to enjoy other area attractions. Once you've worked up an appetite, you're in for a real treat here. Virtually every kind of cuisine is available in Central Florida, but the area is famous for its seafood and southern dishes. Gulf shrimp and stone crab are featured in a number of fine restaurants, and you can get fresh oysters on the half shell for as little as $1 a dozen. Okra, black-eyed peas, grits, and hush puppies are among the southern specialties that shouldn't be missed. Cuban recipes are also popular, but no matter where you dine, consider ending your meal with key lime pie, a real Florida specialty. Feel like a night out on the town? Then why not join the real nights, the medieval nights, at the Medieval Times Dinner and Tournament? You're guests of a count and countess in an 11th century style castle. Just like the days of yore, you feast without utensils, while a pageant is staged for your approval. Bang the table for your favorite competitor in events such as javelin throwing, sword fighting, and jousting. The Medieval Times Dinner and Tournament is located in Kissimmee, about 3 miles southeast of Walt Disney World. Reservations are required. Then come on down to Church Street Station to find some of Orlando's most fun nightlife. Actually, 5 clubs in one. Church Street Station includes Rosie O'Grady's Good Time Emporium, featuring Dixieland Jazz and can-can dancers, Apple Annie's Courtyard, Phineas Fogg's Balloon Works, Cheyenne's Saloon and Opera House, and Lily Marlene's Aviator's Pub and Restaurant. Something to please every taste and temperament, Church Street Station is located on Church Street and Interstate Highway 4 in downtown Orlando. It's open daily. With hundreds of sparkling lakes nearby, Orlando is a fisherman's paradise. These lakes teem with bass, and boat rentals and experienced guides are available for the visiting angler. There are also excellent facilities for tennis and golf, with some of the finest golf courses right at Disney World. Greyhounds race at 2 different tracks in the area, and High Lie can be enjoyed at the Orlando Seminole High Lie Fronton from October through February. 4 major league teams hold spring training in the Orlando area: the Minnesota Twins, the Boston Red Sox, the Houston Astros, and the Detroit Tigers. Tourism is the primary industry here, so you can count on a wide range of accommodations. There are a number of excellent campgrounds and RV parks as well, including the ones at Walt Disney World. Hotels range from basic budget to luxurious. Just about all the major chains are here, supplemented by some fine local establishments. Some of the more exciting accommodations include 3 Disney resorts. The Contemporary Resort, very modern and served by the monorail to the Magic Kingdom. The Polynesian Village Resort, South Seas luxury where you stay in 2-story longhouses. And the Golf Resort, 2 18-hole golf courses right outside your door. Other premier hotels in the area include the Hyatt Regency Grand Cypress, which has a golf course designed by Jack Nicklaus, and a swimming pool with a dozen waterfalls, and the Hyatt Orlando in the city of Kissimmee. Beautiful rooms, 4 swimming pools, and a fun atmosphere. Reservations should be made well in advance, especially during the winter season. Your travel agent can give you more information on availability and prices. Now let's hit the road once more and travel to Central Florida's exciting East Coast. About an hour from Orlando, the East Coast features sunny ocean beaches, wilderness refuges, and one very special attraction, the awesome Kennedy Space Center, home of the Space Shuttle and the world's first fully operational spaceport. It's an easy day trip from Orlando to Cape Canaveral on Route 528, known as the Beeline. From Orlando, follow the signs to the John F. Kennedy Space Center. The Space Center has recently undergone a massive expansion program, making it more exciting than ever. With 2 million visitors each year, it's become one of the most popular attractions in Florida. Your Spaceport USA tour begins at the Visitor Center on Merritt Island. Outside are huge rockets and spacecraft on display. Inside you can see a moon rock, space capsules, rocket engines, and a lunar lander. For a small fee, the IMAX Theater lets you relive the first launch of the Space Shuttle Columbia on a screen 5 stories high and 70 feet wide. There are 2 bus tours you can take, the blue, which is more historical, or the red, which sees the current activities of the space program. The tours also require a small fee, and each lasts approximately 2 hours. Launch tours can be arranged by calling 1-800-432-2153 after you get to Florida, or write NASA well in advance of a scheduled launch and ask for a car pass. This will get you through the gate on a launch day and allow you to park along the Indian River, only about 5 miles from the pad. Bring a good set of binoculars and a camera with a telephoto lens if you have them. You don't have to worry if you don't have this equipment. A launch is still a magnificent sight, and you won't be disappointed. If you don't have a car pass, you can park outside the center anywhere you see cars and recreational vehicles gathering for the launch. There are choice spots along U.S. Highway 1 in Titusville and along State Road 402 north of Complex 39. You can also ask the locals about other good viewing areas. In the shadow of man's grandest achievements lies a shelter for nature's most fragile. Adjoining the Space Center is the Merritt Island National Wildlife Refuge, a haven for deer and small animals, alligators, and many species of birds. The refuge is open daily except Christmas and launch days. To experience nature's tranquil beauty, visit the Canaveral National Seashore, located near the Space Center. Here is a serene place to roam among the sand dunes and enjoy Florida as it was before the advent of modern society. It's the perfect spot to contemplate both our dreams and our beginnings. There you have it, a pictorial preview of your Central Florida vacation, an enticing video trip from St. Petersburg on the Gulf of Mexico to the Kennedy Space Center overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. Thank you for joining me on this video trip, and look for video trips on other exciting vacation destinations. I'm Annette Funicello, wishing that all your travels are safe and your memories enduring.
There are many other Rand McNally programs to great vacation destinations around the world. For a free brochure, call this toll-free number or ask for Rand McNally video trips at your favorite video store or bookstore. It's the best way to make sure your vacation is exactly the way you want it to be.